Is there anything more cozy than baking delicious food while living on a remote island in the north of Scotland?
I mean, there's really only one way to find out, and that is by talking to the man best known as the Hebridean Baker.
We are going to be talking so cozy
So
today.
cozy.
Oh my God.
Good, because this is Talk Cozy to Me.
Welcome to Talk Cozy to Me, the podcast where we help you to find a little more cozy in your life. I'm one of your hosts, Dylan Cashbaugh.
And I'm your other host, Keetin Markey, and today we have a guest we are both so excited to talk to because he truly embodies coziness and I think is living the life we dream of living, hopefully someday soon.
Yeah, definitely. He is so cozy that he was once described as what a warm shortbread cookie might be like if it came to life, which is, I think, probably the coziest description of anyone ever. So with that being said, obviously, I think we all want to hear him speak a little bit more than we want to hear us speak. So welcome to Talk Cozy to Me, the Hebridean Baker himself, Coinneach MacLeod.
Oh, hello, Dylan. Hello, Keetin. How are you? And do you know what? That wee soundbite you gave, honestly, isn't that the dream that somebody calls you a piece of shortbread?
I'm so jealous. I wish that I were cozy enough to achieve that kind of status someday.
And you know where that came from? This was unbelievably, and I know we'll get into it, one of my first ever followers just happened to be the columnist in Elle magazine in the US. And just one day wrote her whole column about me. And that was one of the most wonderful quotes ever that started this great journey. So, Rosamund and Talio, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be on this wonderful podcast today.
Oh, thank you, Rose. And now my goal is to be compared to a shortbread cookie because
I mean, really any kind of cookie I'd take.
Truly.
All right, I obviously want to dive so much into your backstory and all the things, but first we got to do a little bit of a warm-up. We're going to start with hot cocoa. Hot cocoa is something we share that we experienced recently that made us feel a little warm and fuzzy, a little more optimistic about the world. Keetin, do you want to start with your hot cocoa?
Yes, thank you so much. Well, so I work in TV and funny enough, I have somehow become, anytime we do an animal segment, it becomes my segment. And I'm so honored because I truly love animals. And anytime we have animals on set, it's always like my responsibility to make sure we take care of them and work with the right people. And recently we did have animals on set and I got to work with some baby animals. And it was one of the most warm and fuzzy, and I might say biblical, because one of them was a baby lamb. And he was a little orphaned baby lamb. And so he acted like a little puppy, and he was just so sweet, and I could hold him and like give him a bottle and all that stuff. And again, like when I'm around animals, it just brings me so much joy. And to be able to, I've seen like lambs and stuff, like when I've traveled, and my grandpa was a farmer, so all of that stuff. But to see this little like puppy dog baby lamb and like have him just, all he wanted to do was be around people, it was really, really special and really, really sweet. And I don't know, it makes me still want to have a farm someday and I know in your cookbook, you've promised your partner a Highland coo, and that's what I really want. And so I might have some questions about Highland coos for you.
Honestly, come in about 2 weeks' time, and you're going to see as many lambs on the farm as you like. So get that flight booked.
Yes.
Oh, okay, fine.
I mean,
pull my leg.
It's not going to take much convincing for us, really.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Dylan, what is your hot cocoa?
Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons that I am nerding out in general today is because we have talked for years now about our dream of like moving to Scotland and living our coziest lives there, because we have been to Scotland several times. We love it. The culture, the landscape, the people are so amazing. So this episode gave me an excuse, obviously, to learn about you, Coinneach, and like research a little bit about the Hebrides, the culture, hear so much Gaelic coming from you. It was such a fun experience that just really reinvigorated that kind of desire for that cozy life. And it felt almost like I was making like a vision board or something where I'm just like, oh, what do I want my life to be like someday? It really helped to crystallize like some of that I just want from our future. And maybe that'll be in Scotland if all goes well, but if not, it helps us to find the coziness of Scotland in our own lives, whether it be baking some delicious Scottish foods or wearing a tartan outfit, whatever it is. It's really
it.
fun to be
I
able
love
to
it.
bring some of that in.
Yes. And what is your hot cocoa this week?
Oh, goodness. I have had a nice piece of hot cocoa this week, but it might be a little bit left field. So, you know when you get somebody slipping into your DMs?
Yes.
Okay?
Always.
Of all the people, okay, so picture it. The amazing actor, okay, I'm going to say her name, Jennifer Goodwin. Do you know her from
Yes.
all these wonderful Disney things that she's done? So, you know when you get like somebody tagged you in a post. So I get this thing, Jennifer Goodwin has tagged you in a post. And I was like, Jennifer Goodwin? And I looked at it and it was just a picture of oatcakes and said, just made the Hebridean Baker's oatcakes. So I reshared that saying, oh my goodness, one of my favorite actresses has just made my oatcakes. She then shared that saying, oh my goodness, the Hebridean Baker knows who I am. So naturally, I slipped into her DMs and she was like, I'm a huge fan. I've got all your cookbooks. I dream of coming to visit you in Scotland. Myself and Josh are super fans. Come and visit anytime when you're in LA. So isn't that, I mean, wouldn't you love to have a hot cocoa with Jennifer Goodwin?
Absolutely. I mean, I love her and her husband, Josh Dallas, and I've gotten to interview them both when they were doing Once Upon a Time at Comic-Con one time. And they are the loveliest people. And it's so funny you bring her up because her husband actually went to high school with one of our best friends, Sam.
Really?
And yeah, my friend's parents taught her husband, and that was one of the things I was able to talk to him about. But they are the loveliest people, and I would geek out just as much as you did, and I would absolutely slide into those DMs because what kind and cozy humans, within the Hollywood world, which I think sometimes is tough to find. But that's awesome. What a
So
cool
there you
thing.
go. There's my wee cocoa moment for you.
It's a great one.
All right, well, let's dive into a little bit of getting to know you. I guess, to start out, obviously you've had this rise to stardom and everything, but just what is life in the Hebrides like? Maybe going back before your blow up on TikTok, what was it like?
Sure. Well, I suppose maybe first for some folk that might not even know where the Hebrides are, I guess. So the Outer Hebrides are part of Scotland. They're in the far northwest. To put geography into context, I'm closer to the south coast of Iceland than the south coast of England. And I'm from the furthest north, the island of Lewis. And it's spectacular. I mean, it is a beautiful island. Culturally very interesting because we used to be part of Norway. We were part of Norway for 400 years and then we became part of Scotland. So we have this kind of Nordic Viking culture that intertwines with our Gaelic Scottish culture. Very dramatic landscapes, very challenging weather. But you don't come to the Hebrides for a suntan, so, you're going to wrap up warm when you go, but it really is a very special place of contrasts, of experiences. And I think the thing that everybody comes back with when they visit the Hebrides is stories. They always come back with, I heard Gaelic for the first time. I touched a stone, one of the standing stones of Coinneach. I didn't go back in time, but I still touched a stone. I stood looking over the Atlantic when I know the next thing there is America. So many amazing things that I hope people will experience in the future.
And who in your life, obviously you pull so much of just like what you share online and your cooking and stuff from kind of the culture you learned. Who really instilled that culture in you growing up? Is there somebody very specific, or was it like neighbors? I knew you grew up in a very small town, but where did that come from?
Yeah, so I'm from a village called Cromoar, which again quite nicely sums up the kind of Viking Gaelicness of our island, because Cro is the Old Norse word for a cow, and Mór is the Gaelic word for big. So I'm from Big Cow. The next village is Crobake, which means wee cow. So I was always pretty proud that the Vikings thought we had bigger cows than the next village. But I grew up in a village of 30 people. And it was a very female-dominated village because my family, like pretty much every other family in the village, the fathers were fishermen, so they would leave and go out to the North Atlantic for a week at a time, sometimes two. And so does the mothers who are home looking after the sheep, looking after the families, looking after the crofts and farms. So I was very lucky that I had that around me. But I think there's definitely one that inspired me. My aunt Bella, who is now 97, still bakes every day. She's my absolute hero. This all began because of her. You know, I remember going round her house one day, like maybe 6-7 years ago now, and she was making what I would say is the most traditional recipe from my island. In Gaelic, we call it a duff. It's called a clooty dumpling in mainland Scotland. And it happened to be her 65th wedding anniversary that day. And she was making it for her husband because she had made it as her own wedding cake 65 years ago to that day. And so that day, you know, when I was over and we were sitting having a cuppa, she was telling me about the traditions of the islands in those days and what would happen at weddings. And I remember going home kind of realizing not only did I have a lot to learn from the recipes that she had, but also the stories, the legends, the culture. And it was that next day that I decided, I literally woke up and said, I'm the Hebridean Baker, not knowing what that meant or what I was going to do. But it's all because of her, which is amazing. And she appears in a couple of my books. And she does curse me because when she goes to the supermarket on the island, it takes her like an hour because everyone's photos with her because they know, you know, they've seen her from the books. So she always phones me afterwards and curses me for how long she has to take doing her supermarket shop, which at 97 is pretty impressive, you know?
I mean, the fact that, she's still, there must be something in the water there. Like 97 still doing your own supermarket shopping and baking every day. That's a pretty impressive.
Well, funnily enough, that bake, I remember I was on tour in the US in a beautiful town called Fort Collins, Colorado. I don't know if you know it, but big shout out to Fort Collins. And we do a Q&A at the end of each of the events, and this lady put up her hand and said, how do I get married to a man from the Outer Hebrides? And I remember kind of going, well, first you be careful what you wish for. But I said, really, it's super easy. If you learn how to make clooty dumpling, book yourself a one-way flight, you'll be married in 2 weeks max. If you do need your husband to have their own teeth and hair, that'll probably take a bit longer. But if you're not too fussy, 2 weeks done. 2 weeks done. So the clooty dumpling is the secret to everything in life in the Hebrides.
That is great to know. I guess I feel like
you better tell him now.
All right, so for context, we have this wonderful book of yours, the Scottish Cookbook, and one of the things in it that I am going to make later today, but I needed to get your advice first, is the Hogmanay clooty dumpling recipe. So I guess I just need to ask the expert himself, any tips as someone who has never made a clooty dumpling before that I should be aware of before I dive in?
Well, firstly, clooty dumpling is also my drag name, which is a bonus.
It's a good one.
The best drag name ever.
So again, Dylan, I don't think you're aspiring to get married to any men from the Outer Hebrides over the next few weeks, but still, it's still a wonderful bake. It's a very simple fruit cake, but the first thing is it's a boiled fruit cake, and probably the most famous thing about it is it's got a skin. And that's a bit Marmite. You either love it or not. And how you make the skin, you get your muslin or a very worn dish towel. And when you make your batter and you put that in the middle, before you do that, you boil the muslin, squeeze out the water, lay it out on your work surface, and then you liberally flour the muslin, and then when you put your batter in it, and when you boil it, that's what's going to create the skin, which is very unique. But this is the big thing, okay? A Clutie dumpling, not the drag queen, but the big, it's a 3-day endurance, okay? Day 1, you slice it warm and have it with a cup of cocoa. Day 2, you have a bigger slice and you cover it in cream or vanilla custard. But every Hebridean dreams of day 3. On day 3, we fry it with sausages, bacon, black pudding as part of a Hebridean breakfast. I'm actually salivating.
I'm like, literally, I am too. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I haven't had breakfast yet. This sounds amazing.
So you've got 3 amazing days ahead of you.
The only thing that upsets me is I don't know where we can find black pudding around here. That might be tougher.
I know. That is
gotta be
tougher in Los Angeles.
A Polish deli or a Spanish deli. That's where you get some blood sausage. Maybe not Scottish, but close enough.
Yeah,
Close enough.
Yeah. I'm sure there is some somewhere.
Well, speaking of husbands, your drag name, and just all of the fun stuff about Scotland, because I've dreamed about running away to Scotland ever since I read Outlander. But what does it feel like? I feel like in the last about 10 years, there have been 2 major sex symbols to come out of Scotland. One of them is Jamie Fraser, aka Sam Heughan, and the other one is you. How does it feel to be considered kind of this sex symbol, as well as an incredible baker and I guess cultural influence?
Like, the people who are going to be listening to this podcast, they're going to be going, maybe he is hot. The people who are watching this podcast are going to be going, God, she needs spectacles.
No!
I love a podcast host with bad eyesight. That's like my absolute dream. Although, I have to say one thing. There's a magazine in Scotland called The List. It's like the culture magazine where everything happens. And they do this thing every year called the Hot 100. Now, technically, it's the culturally hot 100. Last year, I was in the Hot 100. The person I was most excited, I won't tell you yet what position I was in, but I beat. Do you know who? Are you Doctor Who fans?
Oh,
by any
yes,
chance?
very much so.
Okay, so David Tennant. I beat David Tennant in the Scottish Hot 100. Now I'm going to tell you, I came 92nd. So, I didn't exactly hit the peaks. But in my bio for the rest of my life, I can write, I beat David Tennant in the Hot 100. That does mean there's 91 people ahead of me and David that are culturally hotter, but still.
I think clearly you were both ranked lower than you should have.
Yeah,
been, really.
that's actually, I'm a little bit...
I kind of feel it was upside down. I'm feeling it was out of 100.
Yes, there we go. There we go.
I mean, and Scotland's not that big of a country, so to even be in the top 100, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I was very happy. But you talked about Outlander, and what a phenomenon it is. And I've been so lucky to meet and do some events with Diana Gabaldon, the author of Outlander. What a superstar she is. She's just joyous to be with. We've done a few events in her hometown where she lives in Scottsdale in Arizona. And actually there is again a bit of a Doctor Who connection there. I don't know if you know the story, but I just assumed maybe she had Scottish family or Scottish connections. But the story she told us that the first night I met her was, I think she was she a biologist or a chemist? Or
I think she was like a zoologist. Yeah, she definitely is
right.
like very research-based scientist before she wrote these books.
Yes. Yeah. So she was doing that, but she had always wanted to write a novel. She was watching Doctor Who and went, oh, time travel. I'll just scribble that in my wee book of thoughts, put it aside. Then she watched another episode. Now, as many of you know, in the TARDIS in Doctor Who, there's an assistant. And in the late 60s, the Doctor's assistant was Scottish, and he wore a kilt on the series in Doctor Who. And she happened to see one of these episodes. And she went, Scotland. That's not a bad idea. Scribbled that in her notes. She was in Boston at the time. She went to a secondhand bookshop and said to the owner, "Do you have any books in Scotland?" And he looked around going, "I don't have much, but I do have a Gaelic English dictionary." She goes, "I'll take it." And that is how this whole adventure of Outlander began for her. Isn't that unbelievable?
Like, you just never know, right? Like, you never know what's going to strike you and then basically turn into your entire career.
Right.
So she's a superstar. I just love her to bits.
Yes. And how much Doctor Who has changed the world, and how much now Outlander has spread Scottish culture to the world.
I mean, yeah, I feel like we have dear friends on the west side of Scotland, and they're like, you know, we love that Outlander that people know about Scotland, but also the tourism now is a little crazy sometimes, and people touching stones and all of that.
There's a lot of touching stones happening. But going back to your thing, and actually maybe going back to Rose's column in Elle magazine, and even though she didn't talk about my looks, but she certainly talked about my voice. And the final line in it, she was trying to encourage people to come and watch my Instagram or my social media. And she said, "Come for his cakes, stay for the way he says cream your butter." And I was on tour recently in the US, and I was I don't know if you know San Francisco well, but there's an amazing cookbook bookshop in San Francisco called Omnivore Books on Food. It's the most wonderful shop, and I walked in. The place was packed, like packed to the rafters. And I walked in, and there was these three ladies in the front row. I have to say they were quite buxom ladies. And as I kind of arrived at the store, I looked at them. I realized they all had T-shirts with "Cream your butter" written across their bosoms. And I was like, okay, I have made it. I've peaked. That's it. I've peaked.
Are you selling that merch now?
Yeah,
How do I get a cream your butter shirt?
Look, I'm on it. It's going to happen this summer.
All right. So obviously you have fans that make T-shirts based on your phrases. You have multiple cookbooks out. You have a TV series. What is it like to have gone in 5 or 6 years from just small Hebridean island life to huge stardom, where like so many hundreds of thousands of people follow you and know your name and what you do? It's
remarkable. It's humbling. And I think, what am I now? What am I, 51? It does make me giggle. I think that's the best part of it. I think my favorite thing in the whole world is, I open my email or I arrive in a different city in the world, and all I want to do is rush home, phone Peter, and tell him what crazy thing happened today. The amount of stories that, in my old age I can look back on, be it making, dinner for 2 hobbits from Lord of the Rings on an uninhabited island in the Hebrides, to, being invited to the White House by President Biden. The things that have happened to me, all because of a clootie dumpling, is unbelievable. And I always made this sort of promise, in a way, when this all started. And I think maybe I had, say, about 400 followers at the time, that if anybody wrote to me a message or an email or a comment or a DM, depending on what type of DMs they are, that I'd reply. Now,
I was like, is that hard for you now?
it's turned into a bit of a full-time job. Sometimes I'll get 2,000 messages on emails a day, but I've always committed to it, that like, if somebody has taken the time to write and say, I made this recipe and my family loved it, or because of you I'm coming to Scotland this summer, or I want to knit you a jumper, a sweater because I love your sweaters, whatever. How can you not How can you not reply? Because there's such lovely, lovely messages. So it's been life-changing, and it's not a job, but if the Hebridean Baker was a job, it is the best job in the world, I promise.
I love that. I guess, first off, I have to note, I'm sorry, if Aunt Bella is 97 and if you are 51 and look this good, yes, there is something
There is
about
something in the
Hebrides
water.
or maybe
Filters.
it's the
Good light,
baking.
good
I
light.
think it's the secret to a long life is in your cookbook. I think that's what it is.
Clooty dumpling as a face mask, as a...
All right, so you did touch on Billy and Dom Eat the World, which I will say is actually how I believe we were introduced.
Yeah,
to
we
you,
were first introduced
is
to you.
watching that
Amazing.
show.
Yes, yeah.
Were you a Lord of the Rings fan before that? What was it like meeting Billy and Dom and taking them on this Scottish adventure?
Huge fan of Lord of the Rings. Huge fan, and I read and watch them every year. Just part of my life. But again, this is one of those moments. I opened my emails one day, and they were like, it was a production company saying, "Look, can we phone you about a TV show?" I was like, "Sure." And they said, Billy Boyd and Dominic Monaghan, I've got a new TV show. They want to come to the Hebrides. We're wondering if you're available. And I was like, that sounds fantastic. When are they coming? And so they told me the date, and I was like, darn it. And they were like, "Oh no, are you away?" I said, "No." I said, but that day I'm judging the tractor competition at the local agricultural show, that's a pretty serious accolade,
Very serious. Yes.
to get asked to do
Very
that.
serious.
And they were like, could we help? Could they judge as well? And I was like, absolutely. So they came along day one. They helped judge the tractor competition, and then the next day we headed to this wonderful island called Tarrant. It's actually the largest uninhabited island in Britain, and it's beautiful. Like, it's the beaches, just everything about it. Its history is just wonderful. And I made them dinner on the beach, and we sang some Gaelic songs, and it was great fun. It really was special.
That's it. It was like living the Hobbit life, but like in the Hebrides. That's so awesome.
All right. Well, I guess while we're on the subject of TV shows, you have a TV series that sadly we have not been able to watch because we are in America, and as far as I know, it is not available here. But I have seen some YouTube clips at least.
Not yet.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what can you tell us about Hebridean Baker Nordic Islands?
Oh my goodness! What an honour it was to be asked by the BBC to create a TV series. And if there's something that I'm more passionate about than food, it's island life. There's something about islands and islanders that we're kind of a wee bit different, And what this show does is it celebrates islands and island people. And so in each episode, I start in the Hebrides, and then I travel to an island overseas. And this first series that we filmed was set in Scandinavia. And so in each episode, I traveled to a different island in Scandinavia. And, not only to learn about the food, not only to learn about the culture, but as I said, about the islanders. Is there something that connects island folk? Even if we don't speak the same language or, those kind of things. And that absolutely is. There's something inbuilt in us that islanders were a bit more robust, a bit more ready for bad weather. I mean, the first episode I shot in the Arctic Circle in wintertime. It was -17. I didn't know I could wear 3 layers of thermals at the same time, but you can. I can verify that. And so we went to the Lofoten Islands in the Arctic. We went to the Faroe Islands, which are in the Atlantic. We went to Bornholm, which is a Danish island, and we went to Gotland, which is a Swedish island in the Baltic. Also contrasting in their culture and their identity and language. And it was magical. if I wasn't eating fermented sheep's head with a farmer in the Faroe Islands, I was learning to knit. I was learning how to make a princess cake by one of the most famous bakers in Sweden. Learning how to make Danish pastry from a Dane. Like all these things, like absolute bucket list things. And what I'm really pleased about, so we filmed actually 2 versions of the show. The BBC wanted a version in Gaelic. So throughout the UK, they'll see me speaking in Gaelic, and they'll see the contributors speaking in their language. So you can hear Faroese, Norwegian, Danish, Swedish. But we also filmed an English language version of the show. And that at the moment, fingers crossed, is being sold across the world. It's so funny. You know how, I don't know if you've got those Google alerts that tell you when your name appears doing things.
We're not that big
my
yet.
My show came out in Poland and Croatia at the weekend. And it's kind of like, that's kind of strange. And one of my really good friends, Nina, she's Finnish, but she was taking part in the Finnish version of The Amazing Race, which happened to finish in Miami. She was flying home, got on the plane, switched on her little TV set on the flight, and was the first thing that came up. Hebridean Baker, Nordic Islands on Finnair. So slowly but surely it's getting out in the world. So fingers crossed, somebody in America might buy the rights. Fingers crossed.
I feel like it's just a matter of time. Like I'm obsessed with like the Stanley Tucci going through Italy, and like people, you have been called the Scottish, I guess, Stanley Tucci. And so I feel we need this cozy content. We do. Yeah. The world is kind of crazy right now, and I think seeing other people's cultures and seeing our similarities beyond our differences, I think, is what's so important. And like you're so big on your culture and sharing your culture. What has that meant to you to be able to not only share like your Gaelic language, but to share kind of all this stuff that, I think at one point they tried to completely erase Scottish culture in history. Yeah. What does it mean now that you're kind of one of the faces of it that people from other parts of the world get to see?
Yeah, it's amazing. And you're absolutely right. There's been many times in Scotland's history that our identity through maybe our kilt or through our language has been trying to be taken away from us. And it's by certain parts of politics is now they're trying to do the same again because they don't like differences. And our differences is what we should be absolutely celebrating, And so the Gaelic language, when you speak a minority language, which Gaelic is one, you've got 2 jobs. Firstly, to speak it as much as you can, to all the others, but also to be an ambassador for the language too. And I'm very proud that many people, when I'm traveling, particularly in the US and Canada, when I've gone back maybe a year later, they've said, you encouraged me to learn Gaelic, and they start speaking to me in Gaelic, and that just means the world that people are taking this wonderful and beautiful language to listen to, and particularly to sing in. It's a great way to be introduced to the languages through our music. We have wonderful singers like Julie Fowlis, who, if you know the Disney movie Brave, she sang the soundtrack to that movie. Actually, I think the only time she's ever sang in English, because she sings mainly in Gaelic. Catherine Matheson from Capercaillie, all these wonderful singers. And actually, Dylan, if you look in the back of that cookbook that you got, I actually make a couple of pages from the back baking playlist. So there's a playlist of Gaelic tunes that I want you to make when you're baking in the kitchen. So that's going to inspire you for these wonderful Gaelic musicians and singers, and I hope you deep dive into them and learn kind of our amazing culture from that as well.
Yeah. I would love to know a little bit more. Like, did you grow up speaking Gaelic? What would you consider Gaelic or English your first language? Because it seems like so much of what you do is in Gaelic.
Yeah, so yes, I didn't have any English till I was 5, till I went to school. We learned English at school. So absolutely was my first and only language for the first 5 years. I mean, there's only 60,000 people in the world who speak Gaelic. Gaelic is originally so, and it beams when you say Gaelic, because many people sometimes say Gaelic. Now, that is two different languages. So Gaelica is Irish, and Gaelic is the Scottish version, but it came from Gaelic. So Gaelic is the original language. St. Columba came with two things to Scotland, Christianity and Gaelic. But by the time you got to the Outer Hebrides, we were speaking Old West Norse, because we were part of the Viking Kingdom of Man. So that is why our language is about, say, 65% Gaelic and about 35% Old West Norse. So it's quite a niche language. But it means that, say, if you were speaking in Gaelic and I was speaking in Gaelic, we could maybe get the gist of the language, but it's still quite hard for us to fully understand everything. But of that 60,000 people, 54,000 of them live in Scotland. But there are 6,000 who live on the island of Cape Breton in Nova Scotia in Canada. And I was lucky enough to go over there on one of my tours. And I don't know, I thought maybe I was a bit cynical. I was thinking, yeah, but they won't really speak it. They really speak it. Like, actually, I walked into a pub. There's a really famous pub called the Red Shoe. Big shout out to the Red Shoe. You need to go there. If you can't make it all the way to Scotland, that's nearly like going out drinking in Scotland. It's going to the Red Shoe in Mabu in Cape Breton. And walked up to the bar, and the barman just starts speaking to me in Gaelic like it's the most normal thing in the world. And I remember we were chatting for a while, and then he said to me, he says, "Well, Coinneach," he said in Gaelic, he says, "I'm looking forward to hearing you sing at the party tonight." And I was like, "Pardon?" And he opened this program, and on the first page it was like Mabu Community Hall, special guest Coinneach MacLeod. And I was like, oh, okay. So I kind of wandered across the hall. This lady was outside, and she was like, "Coinneach?" I said, "Yes." And she said, "It's Ishbel McMaster." I was like, "Hello." She goes, "I hear we're singing a duet tonight." And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely, sure." And literally then, the host of the night, we call them the Ben and Teha, said, "Welcome back to the second half of the show, and what a start we have. Our local star, Ishbel McMaster, is going to sing a duet with all the way from Scotland, Coinneach MacLeod." Everybody starts cheering. We're walking up to the stage, and I was like, "What are we going to sing?" And she was like, "Well, do you know any Cape Breton Gaelic songs?" Now, that's a pretty niche question to ask somebody 2 steps from the stage. But luckily, I knew one song. It's called Tala na Bain na Guruma, the Lullaby of the Blue Mountains. She goes, "I know it. We sang it together. Amazing." How did I know a Gaelic song from Cape Breton? Well, unbelievably, the year before, myself and Peter had entered, it's called the Royal National Mod. It's kind of like American Idol for Gaelic singers. That's the best way to describe it. And much to our shock, but I think the shock of everybody in the audience that day, we won. We won the Gaelic Song Contest. We were the first male duet to win the contest since 1968, which is just like kind of unbelievable. And actually, in the back of that book again, Dylan, that you've got, you'll see, there you go, Keetin, there you go. You can see, I think the last band, if you look on the playlist, what's the last band called?
Hogmanay Boys.
Yes.
The
Hogmanay Boys might be me and Peter. So we got to release a single. The song, why don't you try and say the name of the song?
Okay, this is going to be fun. Scath Nan Iomad Lynn.
So close, but also so far. No, Scan and Imiclean. But actually, you know that song really well. It's the Gaelic rendition of Auld Lang Syne.
Oh! We love that song.
It's the first time it's ever been recorded in Scotland, in Gaelic, sorry. And so you can go onto iTunes or Spotify, type in Hogmanay Boys, and you can listen to that later today.
I can't
Correct
wait.
me if I think Auld Lang Syne has Scottish origins too, doesn't it?
It is a Scottish song, yeah. Robert Burns, our national poet, he always admits he didn't write the song. He heard somebody singing it in a pub, and he transcribed it, and he gave it to the National Records of Scotland as a song that should be kept. Many people say that maybe he heard a verse and he wrote the rest. But yeah, it is absolutely probably the most famous Scottish song in history. And we love it that it's played across the world, particularly at Hogmanay or New Year, as people call it. It definitely makes us smile.
And now we have a Gaelic version.
Yeah. Wait, are the Hogmanay boys, are you going to be on this year's Eurovision too, or what's next?
Well, look, I love Eurovision, and I have sang at Eurovision. I don't think anybody is ready for me and Peter to sing at Eurovision together. But yeah, did you know I sang at Eurovision?
No,
Or
I
you
did
just throw
not.
that
I'm
out
like
there?
literally
No
like,
way.
we love Eurovision. Like, I was just like, oh my gosh. You sang at Eurovision?
Okay, I don't want to get all Sophia Petrillo on you here, but picture it. 1994, I was 19, and I, in my wisdom, decided to move to Russia. Okay, I got a job working as a journalist for the Moscow Times newspaper. I was in the sports department. Sorry, this is a bit of a story.
No, I love
but
it. I'm
it's
here.
worth it. And so I work in the sports department, all good. And then one day, the arts editor, who was American, she was going through everything that they were going to write about that week. You know, what was on at the Bolshoi, what she was seeing tonight at the Kremlin Theatre. But then she had those kind of half-rimmed glasses, and she kind of looked down at her piece of paper and said, but there's one thing I don't know much about. It's called the Eurovision Song Contest. And I was at the back going, oh, me. But of course, the arts department hated the sports department because, you know, we got too many pages, according to her, in the newspaper. Anyway, she sent me to interview the Russian singer that year, who was Philip Kirkorov, whose wife was Alla Pugacheva, who basically is like the Cher plus Madonna plus Lady Gaga of Russia, you know. And for 12 years, I worked as part of the Russian media delegation at the Eurovision Song Contest. So I attended 12 contests. Then, when I moved back to Scotland, I mean, honestly, Chrissy, I got the chance to speak. This is before Hebridean Baker shenanigans began. The BBC brought me in and said, look, we'd love to enter Eurovision. We know you know something about it. How could we do it? So I spoke to the European Broadcasting Union. They were like, look, Scotland can't enter Eurovision because the United Kingdom enter with the BBC. But we do have other shows. They said, actually, we have something called the Eurovision Choir Song Contest. I said, we'll do it. So we got a Gaelic super choir together, flew to Sweden, entered for Scotland. I have to say, I've never cried so much in my life. I remember there were 4 people from each choir. There were 12 choirs entered, Sweden, Denmark, Latvia, all the countries. But the 4 singers from each choir were to come on stage at the start of the show with a live orchestra to sing Mamma Mia by ABBA. Okay. Like literally, I've never, like all the things. So, right, we didn't win, but it was amazing. Fast forward then 2 years later, there's an Icelandic singer called Daddy Freyr who entered for Iceland. He had entered the year of COVID, which meant, of course, the contest didn't happen. He was coming back the year after. And Iceland was still under kind of restrictions. So through circumstance, somebody got in touch saying, look, we know you sing. We need some backing singers for the Icelandic entry. Could you record the backing vocals? I did. They're on the track. And the song was entered for Iceland. You don't see me on the stage, but my voice is on the backing track, and so I can officially say that I came fourth for Iceland at Eurovision.
Oh,
there you go.
You don't even understand the number of things that came out of your mouth that resonated with us because they are things we love. From ABBA to Eurovision to Iceland at Eurovision that was an incredible journey, and that needs to be a movie.
Yes.
Well, this is the thing. I assume have you seen the Eurovision movie?
It's one of our like cozy movies we throw on if like we're having a bad day.
Okay, picture this movie. The storyline of this movie is about a wee boy on a North Atlantic island who loved ABBA and dreamed of entering Eurovision. I was like, bitch, that's my story. And whose father was a fisherman. Like literally, I was like, who knew? And bizarrely enough, actually, technically, I am in the movie as well. Okay, I know, ridiculous, but I was. When we were entering the 2019 Eurovision Choir Song Contest, myself and Joy, who was the conductor of the choir, were flown to Tel Aviv for Eurovision that year. And that is where they filmed a big part of the on-stage sequencing for the movie. Now, we were in the audience not knowing what was going on stage. We were just asked to wave sparkly lights and blah, blah, blah. So there you go.
Truly, if we thought we couldn't be bigger fans of yours, but like you have no idea the just warmth in our heart that I love to know now that Eurovision is a biopic and it's about you.
I mean, look, I don't know why I've forgotten what's famous actor.
Oh, name? Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell.
Why did they cast him instead of you?
Yeah.
Yeah, why? But I just hope one day Will Ferrell kind of says in an interview, I was on Instagram one day and I was just flicking through and I saw this guy and that took him on the journey to making this movie. I just hope he'll give me credit one day for
all right, well,
for this.
We're absolutely going to have to post that clip on social media and tag Will Ferrell so that he knows the truth.
You have to know whose story you stole in the Eurovision movie. That is wild and amazing.
But Will's wife is Swedish and is a huge Eurovision fan. And they've been to the contest or had been to the contest many times. So I love that it came from a place of just love of the contest. There's a big thing with Eurovision, of course, where there is quirks to it. It can be fun, but we always say we laugh with Eurovision, not at Eurovision.
Yes.
And it's given me so much joy to be part of the Eurovision family. I've made some of my best friends in the world. That lady Nina I mentioned on the flight home from Miami, she was a backing singer for Finland. All those years ago, that's how we met. And so, it's a very special thing. It's only a few weeks away. Yeah. I would just put your money on Finland winning this year. I can see Finland winning the contest this year. It's a great song.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Finland. Coinneach has his money on Finland this year. I mean, truly, it's like we look forward to it, and people are like, "You're Americans. Why do you even?" And we're like, "No, it is exactly the way you describe it. You find the joy in it. You laugh with it, and it's just, and also incredible talent that is there representing their talent.
If you love a big ballad, Eurovision is your thing. If you miss the days of Mariah Carey's big ballads, Whitney Houston's big ballad, that's what you get at Eurovision. Yeah. If you want a key change, that's what you get.
All right, wait, is there a recording anywhere of the Gallic choir, including you, performing Mamma Mia? I just need to know.
Good question. There must be. Oh, Mamma Mia? Yes. I mean, if you see the whole show, if you find that should be somewhere in the ether for sure.
Okay.
You won't see me because I'll be like bawling my eyes out at the front, like in tears. You'll be like, no, that can't be him. He's crying too much.
Look for the person crying the most. That's you. Okay.
Oh my gosh. I feel like we found so much out. I never knew a baking conversation was going to lead to Eurovision at the end.
Yeah.
This is
what's really interesting actually is for me, and through everything I've done, through the cookbooks, through the TV show, through everything, it's really I'm using food as a conduit. Food is just the action because my absolute goal with everything I've done is celebrating Scotland, celebrating our culture, our storylines, our landscape, our language. And using food to do that has been a great way because, well, Peter, who calls himself the official Hebridean Baker cake taster, he's loved it because of that. But it's really allowed me to find an avenue to share in these stories. And that's made it extra special.
I love that. Wait, I might have asked this earlier, but has Peter gotten his Highland coup yet?
I wish I could show all the fingers. He has now got 7 Highland cows.
Okay, he's doing okay then.
Good.
So this is what happens when I leave the country. Every time I've left the country, another set of Highland cows have appeared on the farm. So yes, we had 5, and then I left again, and I came back, and he's just bought 2 wee baby Highland cows. So they're on the farm right now. That is Sadie and Mairead, the 2 babies. So we have 7 Highland cows. We have a flock of a very traditional breed of Scottish sheep called Castlemilk Murits. They're a cross between a soy and a Hebridean sheep. We have our 3 breeds of Scottish dog. We have a West Highland Terrier called Florrie. We have a Scottish Deerhound called Sula, who's a puppy, but I'm 6'2". She's nearly as tall as I am. And a Dandy Dinmont called Peggy. So Peter is basically the Scottish Dr. Dolittle. And excitingly, this summer, we're actually opening the farm so people can come and visit the farm. So we're creating a kind of agritourism business. I don't know what you would call it. So people can come to the farm, help us feed the Highland cows. Today you probably wouldn't want to go on a walk up in the hills because it's actually hailstones at the moment. But in theory, in the summer, when you get to the top of our farm, you can see 8 Hebridean islands, and then come back to the farmhouse for whiskey tasting and afternoon teas and supper clubs. So would you be up for that?
Fine.
Yes,
I'm
we'll
booking my ticket today.
Yes.
You tell us the date and we're there. Oh my gosh. You're it sounds just so amazing.
It does.
And
You are truly living like our dream life. Obviously, I know that I need to get doing some more Scottish baking.
Yes.
To live longer, healthier, happier. I guess what are some other things that people can do if they want to learn more about you and more about the Scottish culture?
Yeah, well, good question. Well, again, firstly, social media is a wonderful thing. I guess that's how a lot of people find out about my adventures. So follow me on Instagram at Hebridean Baker. And I do tour in, I know you'll have listeners across the world, but I do tour a lot in the US. One of my favorite things, if you can't make it all the way to Scotland, is I do a lot of Highland Games in the US. And they are, I can absolutely say, completely outrageous. I've never experienced anything like it. My first one was Grandfather Mountain Highland Games in North Carolina.
Yes, yeah. I know exactly where that is because I'm from North Carolina. So.
Okay. What? Okay, Grandfather Mountain, just magical Highland Games. You've got about 20,000 people a day go into it. And people will come up to me and say, sorry, this is just a small Highland Games. And I'm like, no, it's pretty big. 20,000 people is pretty hardcore. We have maybe 300 out Highland Games. So I've been to Grandfather Mountain. I've been to New Hampshire Highland Games, Tennessee Highland Games, Virginia. And they're just magical. I love them. And so if you can't make it all the way over to Scotland, if your state has a Highland Games, visit, because if you like men in kilts, you'll have plenty of that. A bit of caber tossing, some good food, great music. It'll give you a real fun feel of what Scotland is like. So do take advantage of that. But more than anything else, there's actually a a lovely word that I think sums up a lot of this story and what I've tried to create. And particularly when I've traveled in the US, I've had many people come up to me in the after my events and they've said, I don't think I have any ancestry in the Hebrides or family. I've never been, but ever since I was a kid, I've had this calling to go there. I've had this feeling here that I must go to the Hebrides. And I always tell people that's the word Keetin. Keetin is a Gaelic word. It doesn't really have an English translation, but it's a cross between a calling and homesickness, I guess. But you don't even have to have been to have Keetin. But certainly people who are from the island, the moment they leave, there is a draw home. There's a pulling back to the island. And that's what I've felt a lot of people have about Scotland, and particularly the Highlands of Islands and Islands of Scotland. There's something about them that makes people want to experience it, feel the culture of it. And I hope you do. I hope many people do and get the joy of such a special place.
Absolutely.
I
I just want to get to pronounce it because I feel like I live with this every day. It's can you say it one more time, the word?
It's Keetin.
Yeah. I
It's
feel
a beautiful word.
It's gorgeous.
It really is.
And that Gaelic is such a beautiful language, and I feel that every day about Scotland and now I guess the Hebrides, because everything you've described are things that I love, and so we'll just have to book that ticket and we'll see you at your farm this summer.
There we go.
Perfect.
Amazing.
I cannot think of anything more perfect to end on. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Yes.
I guess just to check before we wrap up, is there anything else you want to plug or share or cover before we end it?
No, I mean, look, it's been great fun. I mean, an hour speaking about Gaelic, bacon, Eurovision, Lord of the Rings. I mean, what more do you want in an hour?
I mean, honestly, I could do another hour of the same, just deeper into it.
Yeah, we didn't even touch on it, but we always read Lord of the Rings and watch the movies every year too. It's just a part of our our own culture that we've made. But so we totally get that.
Yeah.
So there are definitely. Everybody, there will be a part 2 coming up of this podcast.
Yeah,
for sure.
maybe in person we'll come to the farm.
Yes.
There you go. There we go.
That was our conversation with Coinneach MacLeod, and I think I have a new idol. Like
I am unwell. Like I'm unwell in the best way.
Yeah.
Like I could have never. Like I literally was having like tears in my eyes because of just like all the things that we love that were just naturally coming up in the conversation, and just how wonderful he is, and he was so, just generous with his time and his stories, and his coziness. And I feel
talk
cozy
about
right
cozy
now.
icon.
Yeah,
like truly living the dream life, from baking to traveling the world to singing in Eurovision to having Highland coups.
I mean, and the best thing that could have come out of this conversation or this whole interview is that I think we're going to Scotland this summer.
So. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh no.
Oh no, bummer.
All right. Well, Keetin, do you want to talk about what tea we're drinking today?
I would love to. So, of course, we had to do our iconic cliche teas, and this one is called Dragonfire because we thought, with Scottish culture and stories and mystery, it was very fun.
Well, I imagine Dragonfire would be good for baking.
Would be great for baking.
Yeah.
Great. I mean, he has baked with hobbits, so
that's true.
And I feel like hobbits might have used Dragonfire, but Dragonfire is Lapsang and orange black tea blend. So it has black tea, rooibos, orange peel, anise seed, tulsi, and safflower. Yeah. But it is smoky.
Yeah, I guess I should have expected that with the name Dragonfire, but it is a surprisingly smoky tea, which I really like. I'm guessing you're not as big a fan.
I like it. And I also loved that when it was really like piping hot, it made our entire apartment smell almost like a little like a bonfire was lit in the best way.
Well, that like smokiness with the orange was a really nice combination.
Yeah.
flavors and scents.
Yes. So it's very, very delicious. Highly recommend it. Definitely a more savory type of tea, but a great morning tea. Like, because
my
I
God,
mean,
so good.
I'm awake now.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
you're dealing with time differences and
yeah.
recording interviews, you never know how early you're going to have to wake up. But thank you, Cliche Teas, for keeping us caffeinated.
Well, if you enjoyed this episode, you can follow us on social media. We are at Talk Cozy to Me on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And while you're over there, I guess I should just issue this public service announcement because I fear for people's mice and maybe touch screens on their devices. You don't have to smash that subscribe button. You can just tap it. I don't know why is everybody smashing it. Just tap it. Just give it a nice little cozy tap.
Boop.
Yeah.
Boop. You can boop it.
You can
Get a
boop
little
it.
boop it.
Boop that subscribe
Boop
button.
that subscribe
Why
button,
isn't
friends.
that's such a better
We're
thing.
going to make that the thing.
Boop that subscribe
So
button.
boop that subscribe button, friends.
Yep.
But until next time, stay cozy, y'all. Bye-bye. Boop.